Foreigners may be able to vote in Los Angeles soon thanks to the city council. They put a measure on November's ballot allowing the city government to grant non-citizens the right to vote. Proponents argue it's about equality.
This issue to me is really about fairness and representation. It just does not make sense to me that someone who moves to Los Angeles for a temporary job has more of a voice than a parent who has been here for decades, raising their children through our public schools.
Our people here that can't vote, we can't count on the Tea Party to show up and defend them for taxation without representation.
But not everyone on the council was on board.
I don't even know that the county has actually been consulted in their ability to implement such a concept.
The practical effect is that council members would be empowered to make significant changes to election laws. Election laws should never be viewed through the lens of who benefits politically.
But Los Angeles isn't alone in those efforts. Several cities across the country have already implemented or attempted to pass similar measures. Wow. Tom Shalhoub, I remember the LA mayoral debate between Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt, and Nithya Raman, and they were asked the specific question about non-citizens voting. Karen Bass gave a non-answer. I think Nithya Raman was in favor. Spencer Pratt said, no, absolutely not. Well, we don't have Spencer Pratt in that race anymore. It's now Karen Bass, Nithya Raman, and it looks like they kind of got their wish here, that this is advancing and people are talking about it. What do you think? What do you think the chances are that non-citizens are going to have their voices heard in L.A.?
It's happening more and more, and obviously with the rise of the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, that are winning all the Democratic elections, this is where it's headed. In the bluest cities, in the bluest states, that's where it begins, and then it spreads across the country. I think not only is this a non-starter, we have to go back. Already, we have higher representation in Congress for states that have more illegal aliens. You get more representation. You are rewarded for your illegal alien population. Now, of course, they already have that. Now they want them to register to vote. I think they're already voting to some extent. People, they always say there's no widespread fraud in elections. We don't need widespread. Look at every election. Half a percentage point wins an election now. You don't need widespread fraud. You need a little bit of fraud. Yeah.
Joey, you know, the Democrats say, well, we'll limit it to just the non-citizens in these local elections. Some of them who are less honest will say, but we don't want illegal aliens to vote in federal elections. We just want the non-citizens to vote in these local elections.
Yeah, and that's the lie, right?
Yeah.
They get around it. Yeah, Will, I'm going to be not devil's advocate, but at least be fair here and say that what they are saying in California is that they're specifically looking for DACA temporary protected status holders and then legal permanent residents to have the ability to vote in local elections. I kind of take a step back and say, I don't want the federal government telling states and local municipalities how to handle their elections. I don't want that. That's the rub I have with H.R. 1 when the Democrats took hold, and I don't want even Republicans to pass legislation that federalizes elections, because I don't want something stupid that Oregon wants to do if they have enough people in Congress to pass to happen here in Georgia. So like it's the devil's advocate, kind of like the catch-22. With that being said, it just seems pretty common sense to me that there's a reason why you're a citizen. There's benefits that come with being a citizen, that if you're here legally, there's probably a pathway to citizenship. If you want the benefits, do the work. Like, that's the reward. The reward is becoming a citizen, getting to vote, getting to partake. I understand. I'll give the gentleman the intellectual argument of taxation without representation. That exists all over the place already. Anyway, I get taxed. My tax dollars go to all kinds of stuff that I don't have any representation on, to include, I guess, California fraud, as we learned a few segments ago. So I don't know that's a great argument for it.
Lydia, Joy brings up a great point about the value of citizenship and what that means in this country. And it feels like they're perchance trying to dilute that a bit.
I agree with you. I mean, I think that's one of the greatest privileges of becoming a citizenship, is the opportunity to vote and participate fairly in your elections. And when you allow non-citizens or permanent resident, I mean, when you let other people start to participate, it dilutes the value of your own ability to participate in your own local municipal election. You know, what concerns me here is New York City tried this. It failed. But now we're seeing this effort taking shape in Los Angeles and a bunch of other places that we showed on the screen, not just California, Maryland, Vermont, some other places in California, San Francisco and Oakland. So what starts in one place, Joey, I think you were just talking about it, it spreads, and you don't want to see something like that happen.
Yeah, it comes to a point where these politicians don't have to win over Americans anymore, because if they have enough non-citizens or illegals, if they just win them over, perhaps with perks, privileges, and entitlements, then perhaps they don't have to woo the American people anymore.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.